Hi, I'm Levi. We're here to support you as you make recipes found on the extension.usu.edu website under the Food and Health tab. Today, as you can see, we're here at the Provo Macy's and we're going to show you how to make a recipe found on that website. We're going to take you through how to shop for this food and for this recipe, and then also how to cook it. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Alright, today we'll be making skillet lasagna, a recipe found on the extension.usu.edu website. So, in order to find the first few ingredients, we're going to make sure we stay on the perimeter of the store because that's where we can find some of the healthiest, most nutritious ingredients for us and for this recipe. As we've traveled around the perimeter, we've made it to the produce department. The only thing we need, an onion. In our lasagna, instead of using traditional ground beef, today we're going to use ground turkey. Now we've made it to the dairy department. We only need a few things from here. First of all, we need some non-fat cottage cheese. We need 2 cups of it, and this 16-ounce tub is perfect. So the next thing that we need some 1 8-ounce package of wide whole wheat noodles. Looks like they're right here. The next thing we need to put in our cart is 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Right here, really close by, we have our 2 14-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes. And would you look at that, 75 cents. So here we are in the spices trying to get the garlic powder. So garlic powder can range from about $7 to down here to this $1.59. Even with this $1.59, you're going to get the same great flavor that you need. And the last thing that we need on our recipe here today is our Italian seasoning. And of course, an important part of lasagna is the cheese. And look at our luck, it's on sale. Okay, so now we have our groceries in hand and we're ready to cook. Let's make some lasagna. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to want to chop this onion pretty finely. Just know that there are lots of different tricks that you can use for this not to happen. I don't know of any, so I should probably learn that pretty soon so that this doesn't happen to me every time I chop onions, which it does. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our skillet here. And I'm going to start to turn the stove on maybe a medium heat. I'm going to grab my stove. In order to brown, what I'm going to do is I think that I'm going to just add a tiny bit of olive oil. Tiny bit of olive oil on the bottom of the pan. But it's not necessary. I mean, your turkey should have enough juice to keep you ready. Now you're supposed to brown the turkey with the onions. So here's what we're going to do. Now remember, you don't really want to mix your meats normally with other things. So make sure that you don't use anything that you use to chop the onion until after you've chopped it. Alright, so let's keep our meats safe. Make sure you kept it chill till the appropriate time because we don't want anyone getting sick. So this turkey, we have 20 ounces of turkey and we only need half of a pound. So half of a pound would be about 8 ounces of that. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take just roughly half. I'm going to take roughly half of the turkey that's in here. And I am actually just going to take half of that turkey and I'm going to put it right in my skillet, just right here. I'm going to cut up a little bit of this ground turkey. I'm going to mix it a little bit with the onions and we'll just let that flavor ooze together. So, here we go. Our meat is brown, so now we're ready for the next step of our recipe. I'm placing this on a nice hot pad just so that I can show you what I'm doing. But we're ready to add our crushed tomatoes right into the skillet. This is a fun recipe because it's a little bit different. Here's our other can of crushed tomatoes. We just added those to a can. It's smelling great, by the way. At this point you should be adding now your tomato sauce. And it looks like it might not fit, but don't worry. Our 2 cups of water, everything will fit inside of this pan, I promise. We also need to add our spices. it says that we need 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And it'll give it that nice Italian flavor. Mamma mia, right? And then we need 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've added all of those things, I'm going to put it back on the stove and I'm going to bring it to a boil. So I'm going to up the temperature of that. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to mix together all the ingredients here on the stove while the temperature is increasing. We want to mix in that flavor so that it can get mixed in with all of our ingredients. Alright, so looking at the recipe, it says that we need to cover and simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. So simmer means to just keep it right under a boil. And normally we do that by just decreasing the heat a little bit, down to about maybe 3 or 4, around in that area. And I will cover that for about 8 to 10 minutes, so set a timer. Alright, now that we've brought it to a boil on the stove, what we're going to do is, the next step in the recipe says, add uncooked noodles. Cover and simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. And they might not all lay perfectly flat in the pan. So what I'll do is I can break them up so that they all fit in the pan. I'm going to start adding these noodles. Okay, I'm going to lower the temperature here a little bit. We don't want this splashing everywhere, right? So we want to make sure that those noodles get covered, right? Or else they're not going to get soft. Okay, so the time is approaching for us to add our final ingredients. We're just waiting for that to simmer and to continue to boil for another few minutes here. But what I've done is I've just gone ahead and I've measured out our grated part skim mozzarella cheese. So this is 1 cup, and I'm just getting ready to put in the 2 cups of fat-free cottage cheese. And 2 cups will be this entire 16-ounce package. Okay, so we're ready for one of the final steps. So what we're going to do is we're going to uncover our in the making lasagna. I'm going to be safe and I'm going to use a hot pad just in case the lid is really hot. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the lid, and it looks like our cooking is going along just great. So what we're going to do is that the recipe says stir mixture. So I'm going to go ahead and stir just a little bit. Believe it or not, my noodles are getting soft. There we go. So I'm just going to stir this a little bit. Make sure that nothing on the bottom is burning. Alright, now that we've stirred that a little bit, the recipe says spread cottage cheese on top. And then it says sprinkle with cheese. The next step is we are going to recover and we are actually going to simmer again for 10 more minutes, or until the noodles are tender. Alright, and now here comes the moment that you've all been waiting for. We've waited for our 10 minutes for it to simmer after we've put on the cottage cheese and the cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat now, and I'll remove it from the heat. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to stir it a little bit so that some of the juices get underneath there. My noodles are definitely soft and they're ready to eat. So I'm going to move it around just a little bit, and then we're going to let it cool for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and dish myself up some of this. It smells great. The house is filled with Italian aromas. Yes, we love it. Alright, so here we go. Great. The best skillet lasagna I've ever had. It tastes really great. So I highly recommend this. I know that kids would love this. It's a normal food. It's delicious. It's got some great nutrients. It's going to provide you with some great energy. Some things that could go along with this is you could have some steamed broccoli would go along very nicely with this meal. Other vegetables, a salad, right? You could even have a fruit, your child's favorite fruit or your own favorite fruit. But just know that this recipe is definitely worth making.